Alrighty, what's up everyone, Mr. Octagonal here from Octagonal Gaming now. We're going to be discussing the 5 most underrated players in the NBA. I think you can kind of figure out where we're going towards with the title. I'm going to spend about 2-3 minutes talking about why each player is underrated. I'm going to be uploading a similar video very soon, within the next day, about the 5 most overrated players in the NBA, and it'll be very similar, just instead of underrated, it'll be overrated. So without further ado, number 5 is Clint Capella. Okay, so when you think of the top centers in the league, you think of DeMarcus Cousins, Karl Anthony Towns, DeAndre Jordan, Andre Drummond, Marc Gasol, Hassan Whiteside. But where's Clint Capella? Am I saying Clint Capella is a top 5 center by any means? No, he is not. But people don't know Clint Capella. The other people on the list most people know as Clint Capella, he's definitely not an all-star. Some of these other players on this list are all-stars. I put him at number 5 because he's the worst of these players, yet no one knows him, and he's pretty good. He is probably the 3rd best player on the Rockets behind Harden and Chris Paul. Now, I forgot to download and embrace the Pacers roster, so Chris Paul is not in this gameplay. However, one of the players on this list did get traded, 10 minutes after I made this list. So, I will be making that move. But anyway, Clint Capella, does he get as many rebounds as DJ and Drummond and Whiteside, who are 3 very similar players? No. But the Rockets have better players. They have James Harden. Clint Capella gets less minutes because Clint Capella is not the star. DeAndre Jordan has been the 3rd best player on the Clippers his whole career, but he's only getting rebounds. Drummond, he's the best player on the Pistons. Whiteside, he's probably the best player on the Heat. You could make an argument for Dragic, which we will be talking about the Heat later in this video, but no one gives Clint Capella the credit he deserves. Clint Capella is almost as good as some of those players. Rebound-wise, he puts up almost as much rebounds. He does. Oh, he already talked about rebounds. Points, he puts up around similar points. Drummond puts up around 13. DeAndre puts around 12. And Clint Capella put 12. Whiteside had 17, so Whiteside is the upper edge there. We're not going to compare to Whiteside, but those other two, DeAndre Jordan and Drummond, he is almost as good as them, and I'm a Pistons fan. So I'm a Drummond fan. And I don't want to say that. I don't want to say this guy who no one knows is as good as Drummond. But Clint Capella is a really darn good player. Number 4 is Jabari Parker. So if you have a forward putting up about 21 points and 6 rebounds, what would you consider them? An all-star. It seems like almost numbers that a Gordon Hayward could put up, or a Paul George. This player is not as good as Gordon Hayward nor Paul George, but he's not that far away. It's Jabari Parker, the former 2nd overall pick of 2014. Has he been a star? No, it's Malcolm Brogdon, I think that was, with the sick block. But Jabari's overshadowed by Giannis, who is a star, as Brogdon just missed the dunk. Brogdon had a block and missed a crazy game for Brogdon so far. But Jabari's overshadowed by Giannis. Is Jabari someone you could build a team around? I don't think so. But Jabari, honestly, could be a really good second option. Kind of like a Jimmy Butler. Am I saying he's as good as Jimmy Butler? No, Jimmy Butler is a star. I'm not going to say he's a superstar because he clearly can't lead a team. And it's not his fault. The Bulls suck minus Jimmy Butler. You can't get mad at him. And now he has Towns and Wiggins and all of them. So you can't get mad at Jimmy. But Jabari is overshadowed by Giannis. It's not his fault. Jabari this past season put up 21 and 6 as a stretch 4. His natural position is small forward. What I think they should do is maybe do some moving around. I think they should trade Middleton. I really think Chris Middleton's a good player, but I really think it'll benefit Jabari. If he moves to a 3, maybe trade Brogdon or Middleton. I would trade Middleton over Brogdon. But Brogdon or Middleton at the 2, and Giannis at the 1, or just keep Jabari at the 4, because Jabari's played at the 4. So maybe you just do that. But Jabari is very overlooked. I think he can become a star in this league. And a very good second... Wait, what? They get the ball? But he is a very, very good second option for Giannis when they get good. Because are they great yet? No, they're a playoff team, but they're not great. But Giannis and Jabari will win rings together. And maybe some of these other players like Brogdon and Thonmaker can be like their supporting cast. Number 3 is Avery Bradley. Alrighty, I am a big Pistons fan. I made a video on the Avery Bradley trade. I'm thrilled. See the starting lineup? I wanted to start Stanley Johnson over John Lawler because I'm a big Stanley fan. But that's just my personal preference. Don't go by it. But anyway, Avery Bradley at number 3. So we're not going to talk about the trade. I already made a video on that. As I said, I'm a Pistons fan. I'm stoked. I think the Celtics should have tried to do something involving Bradley, maybe Drummond. I know they want to clear cap space, but maybe like later when they had enough cap space. Like after they brought in Hayward. But, you know, it is what it is. And I love this trade for the Pistons. I really like Avery Bradley. I made this list, like, what, like 15 minutes before I found out about the trade? So you can't call me biased by any means. Why did I do that? What made... Oh, gosh. But don't call me biased. Regardless of what team he'd play on, he'd be in this spot. But I am so thrilled that we got him. But anyway, Avery Bradley is an all-NBA defender. I know he didn't make an all-defensive team, but he got snubbed out of his mind. I don't know why he didn't make it. That makes no sense. I looked at his stats, 16 points. So he's not just defense, okay? He can score. 16 points is really solid. I mean, we kind of need a good scorer because Drummond's not a great scorer. I mean, I like Tobias, I like KCP, but they're not as good as Avery Bradley. But anyway, 6 rebounds too, and he's a shooting guard getting 6 rebounds a game. Will that go down with Andre Drummond on his team? Yeah. The Celtics were one of the worst rebounding teams in the league last year, which is why I said they should go after Drummond. When they get enough cap space, because they shouldn't if they want Hayward, but when they get enough cap space, I said they should. So, will that not be a 6? Yeah, it'll go down. Scoring will probably go up, but considering there's no Isaiah Thomas on this team. There's no Al Horford. Avery Bradley was that team's 3rd option. This team, he could honestly be our 1st. He could be our 1st, he could be our 4th. Depending on if we bring, like, KCP back. But anyway, I really think Avery Bradley's a really solid defender, really solid player, not just defender. Very overlooked. He's been overlooked, and that'll change with the Detroit Pistons. Number 2 is Goran Dragic. What's that? You think Hassan Whiteside's the best player on the Heat? Don't mind Chris Bosh. Just don't mind it. You think Hassan Whiteside's the best player on that team? I'm not so sure. I'm not saying he isn't. I'm saying he has a lot of competition. And it's very close between Hassan Whiteside and Goran Dragic. This is a point guard based league, and Goran Dragic is arguably a top 10 point guard in the NBA and a top 30 player in the whole NBA. Probably higher than 30. At the beginning of the season, I really had no faith in Dragic. I thought Dragic was overrated. If I made this list a year ago, Dragic would be on the overrated list, not the underrated. But Dragic really proved it to me last year. He put up all-star numbers. He got snubbed. Now, I think Kemba deserved it over him. John Wall, Lowry, Isaiah Thomas. I do think they deserved it over him. But if this was in a point guard-based league, no doubt he'd be an all-star. Or at least he'd be deserving of an all-star. I went to one NBA game this season. And the Heat played. Goran Dragic dropped like 30 and was the best player on the court. While the Heat did lose, he was the best player on that court. The first half of the season, they went 11-30. We don't need to bring that up. Second half, 30-11. You want to know who arguably the best player was? Goran Dragic. Goran Dragic can be a starting point guard on a championship caliber team. Mark my words. You want to know what else? The Heat will be a top 5 seed in the East next year. Mark my words. Goran Dragic will either be an all-star next year or be snubbed. Is he the youngest? No. Is he starting to decline? Probably. But he's still a very, very good talent. You know that a few years ago he was on the Suns. Got traded to the Heat. You want to know the point guards on that team? Eric Bledsoe, Isaiah Thomas, and Goran Dragic. 2014, I mean Isaiah wasn't on the team in 2014. In 2014, Goran Dragic was an all-star. Then, like, the either 14 or 15 deadline, I want to say 15, they traded Dragic to the Heat, they traded Isaiah Thomas to the Celtics, And both have thrived as all-star caliber players. And Eric Bledsoe's an all-star caliber player, too. As before the Suns, Isaiah was on the Kings. Now he's thriving in Boston. And now that they traded his best pal, maybe Isaiah, that the Pistons are a place for you, man. Come on down. We'll treat you like the star player because he would be the best player. Well, then again, Boston's doing the same thing, but you'd be with Avery Bradley. You'd have Andre Drummond, who's a great rebounder. You'd have Toby. Tobias Harris, I just like to call him Toby. But anyway, Goran Dragic. It's hard to say he's not the most underrated player in the league, but there is one player who is more underrated than Goran Dragic. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. The most underrated player in the NBA is, drumroll please. Alright, can fast forward to the end. There we go. And wait for it. Good ending, right? Anyway, number 1 is the nut kicker himself, Draymond Green. Dear Warriors haters, I am one of you. I hate the Warriors, if not even more than you do. I hate the Cavs, Phil. There you go. I'm not a bandwagon, I mean, go Pistons. But Draymond Green is the most underrated player in the NBA. He's that selfless teammate you have. Does he have a big mouth? Yes. Does he kick people in the nuts? Yes. Hence, Steven Adams. But Draymond Green, he's an all-star. Did he only put up 10 points a game? Yeah. Is he an all-star? Yeah, he is. Is Goran Dragic an all-star? No. Avery Bradley? No. Jabari? No. Clint Capella? No. None of them made the all-star team last year. Yeah, last year. Except for Draymond. And he only put up 10 points. But he's on a team with Steph Curry, one of the greatest shooters of all time. Klay Thompson, arguably one of the greatest shooters of all time. Kevin Durant, one of the greatest shooters of all time. All 3 of them are phenomenal scorers. Kevin Durant won the scoring title 4 times. Stephen Curry won it at least once or twice during his MVP years. Obviously not this year. I mean, really, do you really think he won it this year? With Durant and Klay on his team? But Draymond is a power forward. He put up 7 assists a game. Like, really? Some point guards don't even put up 7 assists a game. I don't think Curry had 7 assists. Maybe he did. I don't know Curry's assist total. But it's not much higher than Draymond Green. If it is higher. Draymond Green will put up about 8 rebounds a game. And you're like, oh, well, maybe he's good at defense. Maybe? That's an understatement. He was the best defender in the league last year. I mean, he won Defensive Player of the Year. So obviously, he's the best, if not one of the best. And he's arguably been snubbed the past 2 seasons before with Kawhi winning it over him. Is Kawhi a great defender too? Duh. Kawhi is arguably underrated. But I mean, Kawhi is an MVP candidate. I didn't really want to put him on this list. Hey, kind of often. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you watch the 5 most overrated players in the league. Kind of often, you want to say bye?